If you're searching for hope and healing in your grief journey, on this episode we share a story of one woman's path where she made 9 simple yeses to start her healing.
And our daughter is asleep, so you know what that means?
That means we can podcast.
That's right. Might mean many other things for other people, but for us it means we can get a podcast done. Still crazy to reflect, even just 6 days old, she was on the podcast, on my chest, strapped on. But not today. She will not sit still for longer than 3 seconds.
No. And she's talkative.
Yes.
Yeah.
We got a pretty special episode today where we want to share a story of hope and one of healing. And so if you're tuning into the podcast and returning, we want to say welcome back.
Welcome back to the Good Grief Couch.
It's great to have you here. My name's Ryan, if you don't know me, and this is my wife, Kaylee.
Hey, everyone.
And if you have been listening for some time, all we'd ask is that you would rate the podcast and leave a review. So depending on what you're listening on or where you're listening, leave a rating. That would be amazing.
So nice.
And we appreciate you so much.
Yeah.
So we've got some exciting stuff happening this week that's going to relate to our story.
Yeah.
What's coming up?
Yeah, we've got this weekend our second Good Grief meetup. And we are so excited for that. The last time we had one was last July, and that was beautiful. How old was our daughter? She was like 3-4 months old. So she came along, your mum came along, and some beautiful ladies from around town came. And
out of town.
Yeah. Well, yes. In a town, out of town, outskirts of town. They all came. So we're having our second one of those. We've also got our second welcome coffee call and a workshop.
So it's a big
all
week.
Happening.
Yeah, there's lots of invitations to be a part of our world and our community and to meet other women, but also start those first steps or processing your emotions to move towards healing. So with that in mind, on Saturday for our meet and grief, we've got a bunch of women coming from all over once again. It's going to be a really special day. We've actually booked out the cafe at our church, which will give us just some peace and quiet instead of sort of a busy environment somewhere else in and amongst the public. So our church backs onto a lake and there's a water fountain and it's surrounded by greenery.
We actually got married there. Well, not married. We had our reception there. It's like such a beautiful space.
Yeah, very
so
serene.
Versatile. Yeah.
So that's where we're going to be hosting our meetup. And one of the women coming, we're going to call her V for the purpose of this episode, actually joined us and came along in July. And that's when we first met her.
Yeah. Yeah, she came by herself. So we just want to shout out V. She's a goer. Even though she lost her mum at that stage, it was just over 2 years since her mum had passed. It was a cancer journey. It happened very quick. I think it was about a 7-month journey, but actually her mum had withheld that information because she thought she was protecting them, and so they actually didn't find out too long before she passed. They didn't actually have that much time. So she's come along, a bit over 2 years later to our meet and grief by herself to meet up with us, to just find some community and some people who get it and who understand her. And she turns up and we meet V and with the other girls, and we just had such a beautiful morning. And
everyone connected, hit it off, got along, had so much to share. There were tears and there was laughter, which is so common in our spaces. But it was a really beautiful morning. We went on a walk and talk where we shared different superpowers of our loved ones and what they meant to us and how we can carry them forward. But as you'll hear through this story of V's, that she has this incredible ability that she has been practicing to say yes to things, even when it is scary.
Yeah, she feels the fear and she does it anyway. She's told me even recently with what we've asked of her is that, oh, that's a bit out of my comfort zone, but yeah, sure. I'm like, oh my gosh, you are so amazing. So we're just so proud of her, and and where she's at in her journey.
And so shortly after that, it was our daughter Nazaree's dedication at church, and we invited her along with her boyfriend at the time.
Yes.
And that was another step for her that she said yes to. And her background, she actually came from a Catholic background.
Yeah.
And as she described it to us just yesterday, it was actually what she would call quite a casual Catholic background, that her family sort of went along and ticked the boxes, and so forth. And so it never really held much weight in her life.
Yeah.
And maybe didn't have the greatest experience either of faith or religion or God through those Sundays and those people,
The experiences.
Yeah, the experiences. So it was a big leap of faith to actually step into our church, which is a Pentecostal church.
Yeah, I mean, put yourself
So
in her
different.
shoes. She's 2 years on from grieving her mum, or still grieving her mum, but 2 years on from losing her. She's come to this meet and grief by herself, asked about church. We've invited her to a dedication to our daughter that she's met once, and she comes to this church with a couple hundred people by herself with her partner. And
what was crazy is we didn't set her up the best on that day because there was so much going on. It was, we were focusing on having our daughter dedicated, but it was also the launch of the shirt that I'm wearing for our pastors who lost their brother in a tragic accident. They launched their mission called Beautiful Crazy. And so I've got their shirt on right now, and their mission is to help families that are going through tragic accidents in ICU and support and care for them. And so they were sharing their son's and their brother's story that day. And it was just...
which is super emotional. And they were getting emotional. They were only months out of it, 4 months.
Yeah.
This was August and it happened in April, literally the day after our daughter was born. So it was like this.
And so I turned around to V and her boyfriend, and she's got tears streaming, and afterwards we caught up and we had some lunch together. She said, I wasn't expecting that. And I was like, I'm so sorry, we didn't even think of that because of so much that was going on. But through it all, she's kept
coming
up and saying yes on those small opportunities to say yes to. I've gotten to know her partner really well. He came along to our men's camp. They are now engaged.
They are.
And so we're able to celebrate them heading towards their marriage.
Yes.
Which is really exciting.
So beautiful. So happy for them.
And fast forward, 8 months from July to now, we've celebrated Christmas together with them, New Year's together with them, and they've just kept saying yes to the invitation to take a step forward and a step closer into relationship, a step closer into vulnerability.
Most recently, they've said yes to joining our home group, which is so, so cool after being in our church community for about 6 months now. We're just so happy to have them join us and our little family that comes and gathers in our home every second week.
Yes. And so the more recent thing that we've asked of V is to actually jump in so that we can hot seat her at our Good Grief meetup happening this week. And so that's going to be in front of all of these beautiful ladies that she once came to 8 months ago on her own. She said yes, even though she's nervous.
And it's out of her comfort zone.
That's right.
And it's something she wouldn't normally do.
But we want to just unpack sort of her journey to inspire and share hope with all of the women that are joining us on Saturday. And so I'm so proud of her.
Yeah.
And we're so excited for her to be able to share some of her story and inspire hope to the other women.
And I think that's why she said yes, because I think she knows enough now from being around us how powerful a story is and how powerful hearing someone else's journey in this season. When you hear from others and you can bounce off and be like, oh, they feeling that too, okay. And you can validate your own feelings and what you're going through. She just knows how powerful that is now. So I think that's why she's, stepped up to it and said yes. So we're so proud of her.
Yeah, there's going to be plenty of little insights and keys there. But even just through this conversation, what we hope that you might be taking away from this is just the opportunity to say yes, even when it may hurt, or even when your heart is racing 1,000 beats per second, or even when you feel fear or anxiety rising. If you believe in your heart that it is a right step, and there are people there to catch you and support you, to do that anyway, even though it might feel scary and worrying in the moment. And just to see firsthand V's progress over these last 8 months has been nothing short of amazing. It doesn't mean there aren't tears. It doesn't mean there isn't heartbreak, but there's also joy and laughter and gratitude that she shares with us as well, which is the balance of moving through grief.
Yeah. And did we forget to mention that she actually said yes to being one of our community captains?
We did forget that.
Yeah. So we've also been able to walk closely with her and 2 handfuls of other women that we asked to...
2 handfuls of other women?
Yeah, well, it's not just a handful, would be about, 4 or 5.
Oh, you actually mean...
So I'm actually quantifying how many women.
Right. Okay. There's about 15 women that we've asked inside of our Good Grief Club, which is, if you don't know, our membership where we walk through the process of grief, but also move towards healing and finding meaning again.
Yeah.
And we've asked 15 of our women inside of there to become what we call club captains.
Yeah. So they just, because we can't possibly get around to everyone and see every comment and everything. So, these beautiful women who have all sorts of different stories, like our angels.
They totally are.
Yeah, they really, really are.
They just love on and support
Yeah.
and pray for and commit themselves to
they have your back.
our community in such a special way.
Yeah.
And that's what it takes to move together. I love the African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. And that's our goal at Good Grief. It's to go far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's been so great. It's been the best thing we could have done for this community and for us. And we just love seeing the journey of these women, and just having this close-knit community. The journeys have increased.
So
so
V
much.
said yes to becoming a club captain.
Yes.
And so she's been there the whole time supporting and giving back to women that have supported her in her journey as well through grief.
Yeah.
So to just recap, if you're still following along this story, V lost her mum 3 years. It's just gone 3 years.
Yep.
And we met her 8 months ago at an in-person meetup over coffee, where all good meetings happen. She said yes to coming to that. She came alone. She said yes to stepping into our church for our daughter's dedication. She said yes to becoming a club captain and joining the club in the first place.
Yep.
She said yes to coming along to Christmases and New Year's, even though those milestones and celebrations are difficult. She said yes to joining our home group here to be part of our faith community. She said yes to jumping in the hot seat this weekend, which we can't wait to report back as to how that went.
So many yeses.
That's 8 so far in 8 months. That's almost 1 a month.
Wow.
But I think 1 tops them all that we're yet to share. And this literally happened.
This is a bonus.
Yesterday. 24 hours ago this happened.
Yeah.
We were having our home group here, and we just watched a message from our pastor, and we'd worshipped and prayed together. And we were talking about
our authority
in Christ, and sharing around the room different struggles and questions that we have. And V actually said, look, she was very, very vulnerable and honest and authentic.
Yeah, I love that about her.
She said, I actually don't have a relationship with Jesus, and I'm just here looking and searching for more, and I'm thankful for all of you. And at that moment, we just felt the Spirit of God here in the room. And I just asked her, I just said, V, would you like to know Jesus? Tears streaming down our eyes, tears in my eyes.
Oh, I could cry right now.
Everyone here in the room had tears just welling up. And she said, yes.
She said, yes, I think so. I think I would like to know Jesus. And we were like,
So we just surrounded her as we prayed for her as she invited Jesus into her life. And honestly, it was one of the most beautiful moments we've been able to experience with someone walking through grief together. And that's not to say that, she's fully healed through grief and the wounds have covered up, but it is to say that the healing is taking place and this journey continues, but it continues now with a closeness and a nearness to our Creator and our Comforter and our Healer. And the love that she's now going to experience because of that relationship, we are so excited for.
Yep, she's now just said yes to the hope and the comfort and the strength that you can find in Jesus, and we're just so excited to just watch her go in leaps and bounds now.
Totally. So it's 9 yeses in 8 months that we're just so proud of V and her now fiance.
Yes.
We're not going to mention their names, but we're excited for them, and you may see more of them in this Good Grief journey. But we just pray that today this conversation has inspired hope in your circumstance, in your situation, in where you are right now in your grief.
Yeah.
And we would invite you to jump on one of our upcoming workshops. The link is below the description wherever you're listening or watching from. Our workshop is completely free for you to come and just soak in the presence of God with us, but also understand practical elements for foundations for healing and processing your grief so you can start to move forwards. Like V's journey over the last 8 months, it may take longer, and that's totally okay as well. Yeah. There's no linear, straight line process to grief, and everybody's grief is different. But we're here to remind you that you're not alone. People do understand.
Yep.
And there is a pathway forward if you would allow it.
Absolutely. So we hope you've enjoyed this story of hope of our friend V and where she's come from, just in the 8 months we've known her. And that could be a similar story for you as well. And you're welcome to come and join our community. You might even meet her. But we hope this has blessed you today, and we hope to be able to share many more of these stories with you. So until next time, big love from us.
Ciao.
I'm Kaylee.
And I'm Ryan. Bye for now.
See ya.